Meta just shipped their own version of Claude Code. It is called Muse Code, and if you are paying $20 to $200 a seat for an AI coding tool this month, that bill is now optional. I read the release, I looked at what Meta actually did, and I am giving you the honest answer up front. They built the full-stack Anthropic built a business on, their own frontier coding model called Muse Spark 1.2, their own agent that drives it, shipped as a pair, yesterday. Most channels are treating this as a benchmark story. It is not a benchmark story. Muse Code is a pricing story. It lands in a market where every AI coding invoice on your desk had zero free baseline to compare against, until this week. Here is the plan. I give you the verdict on whether Muse Code replaces a paid seat right up front, then the exact workflow you run this week to prove it, then where paying still wins, and the payoff at the end. Here is what Meta shipped. Muse Spark 1.2 is a coding-focused upgrade to their frontier model. Meta trained it on long-horizon coding tasks. What does that phrase mean at your dinner table? It means the model was taught to work on jobs that take hours instead of seconds. Whole repository generation, end-to-end projects, real work. Meta scaled training compute specifically on code, and they co-trained the model with Muse Code, which is the agent. The agent is the thing that takes your brief, breaks it into steps, calls tools, edits files, and drives the model through the whole loop without you babysitting each turn. Anthropic sells that shape as Claude Code, Cursor sells a version inside an editor, Windsurf sells another, Meta walked in with the full pair. The verdict. For the class of work where you are paying a seat to run a coding agent on a real repo, Muse Code now has a free tier peer. Test it this week, because next week your competitor already will have. 2 asks and I move on. Subscribe for the next undercut the day it lands. Then join the Church of SEO Jesus, my free school community, where I drop the exact prompts, checklists, and pressure test workflows from every one of these videos, including the Muse Code prompt I am about to give you. Free, link below. Here is the proof that puts this on your desk this month. Not next quarter. Simon Willison, one of the most reliable independent testers in the AI space, ran his standard benchmark against Spark 1.2 the day it dropped. His verdict? A small but material improvement over the version from 4 weeks ago. Small but material. Read that phrase again. Not marketing language, not benchmark theatre, a working engineer with no incentive to hype Meta saying yes, this moved. When the person who has quietly tested every serious model release since 2023 tells you a Meta drop moved the needle, your $200 seat has just been handed a free competitor, and your competitors read the same blog you do. The window on this is not months, it is days. If your team is going to test it, this is the week before your competitor's dev team lands a client on it first. So here is the workflow to run this week. 1 repository. Pick the last real coding task your team completed. Not a toy, not a demo, a real ticket. You already know what the output looked like, how long it took, and what it cost, whether that was your in-house dev, your agency, or a paid AI seat. Now run the same task through Muse Code against your actual codebase. The point is not to see if Meta wins. The point is to see if the free tool gets you 80% of the way there, because if it does, your paid seat has to justify the last 20%. Most of them cannot. Second move, hand it a whole repository. Not a file, not a function, the full codebase. The reason Meta made a noise about whole repository generation is that context has been the pricing moat in this market. How much of your code the model can hold at once, and how well it stays coherent across all of it. The capability was priced, now it might not be. If Muse Code can swallow the size of codebase your paid seat can, one of the biggest walls in this market just came down. It changes the pitch every agency has been running for 2 years about complex codebases and specialist expertise. Ask them why the model cannot see the whole thing now, and watch what they say. Third move, the one your agency does not want you to run. Ask them to reproduce the Muse Code output for the same task. Same brief, same repo, same acceptance criteria. If they cannot, or if the answer is a soft, well, we use Claude Code plus our expertise, renegotiate the line item on Monday. Not because Meta is automatically better, because you now have a flaw. And a flaw is what turns an agency retainer from trust me into prove it. The move alone has recovered 5-figure monthly retainers for people I know inside 3 weeks of a big model release. every time. Now the honest part, because I refuse to be the guy telling you to fire your Claude Code seat on a Tuesday and eat the fallout on Friday. Here is where paying still wins. Muse Spark 1.2 was co-trained with Muse Code, which means the pair works best together and probably works worse when you try to plug the model into someone else's setup. Meta made the trade-off on purpose. Portability took a hit for pair performance. The switching is not just a cost. It is a lock-in to Meta's stack the moment you commit. 2. Track record. Anthropic and Cursor have shipped for years and iterated in public. Meta has a history in this space, and it is a mixed one. Code Llama shipped with the same kind of launch hype and underperformed once real teams pressure tested it beyond the demos. Muse Code could land the same way. Watch what happens by the end of this week when the first serious teams try to build a real project inside it and post the postmortems. If the reactions are wobbly, sit tight another sprint. If they are warm, move fast. 3. Support. When Claude Code breaks at midnight before a product launch, there is a company you pay who can be prodded into fixing it. When Muse Code breaks at midnight, you are in a GitHub issues queue with the rest of the internet. For a business owner running a real deadline, the reliability layer is worth $20 a seat by itself. Do not underprice it. 4. Enterprise contracts. Legal review, data residency, audit logs, security certifications, procurement checklists. None of that comes free with a Meta CLI drop. If your business is at the scale where those things are non-optional, you are not switching this month, no matter what Muse Code can do. Muse Code is a floor, not a ceiling. It gives you a stronger hand in the renewal negotiation. It does not automatically win the argument for you. Play the hand, but do not fold it. A free floor is worth more in a renewal conversation than any hardline you are going to walk in with. 5. Number 5 is quietly the most important. The people you are already paying know your codebase. They have watched your patterns. They have set up the guardrails. They are keeping the wheels on while you experiment. Do not fire the reliable thing to chase the free thing on week 1. Test in parallel. Move when the free thing has proven itself for 30 days, not on release day. The play is to use a moment like this without becoming the case study your competitor learns from. Open Meta's Muse Code page yourself right now. Look at the pricing row and the license terms. That is the proof, not me telling you. I am giving you the framing and the workflow. The receipts are one click away, and they tell you in 10 seconds whether this replaces your paid seat or not. Here is the payoff I promised you. And here is the thing every DevTool channel covering Muse Code this week is going to miss. What Meta actually just did is signal that the era of buying a model and picking your own agent is over. The pair is the product. Anthropic did this first with Claude and Claude Code. OpenAI is heading the same way. Meta just committed. Google will follow. So the decision on your desk in 12 months is not, which model do I want? It is, which vendor's whole stack do I want owning my development pipeline? A strategic decision, not a procurement one. And most business owners are still shopping like this is a model market. It is not anymore. It is a stack market. And the vendors who win are the ones whose pair is easiest to lock you into and hardest to swap out. Every training run they do from here is designed to widen that gap. The 12-month decision is the one you cannot delay. One last thing before you go. If you have made it this far, you are the operator in your market who moves before the rest. Do not stop at the video. Come and get the Muse Code prompt itself. It lives in the church of SEO Jesus, which is my free school community. What you get inside is the exact pressure test brief I would hand my own team on Monday morning, the checklist for evaluating the Muse Code output against your current paid seat, a repo scoping template that gets a coding agent close to 80% on the first pass, and the renegotiation script for the agency conversation on Tuesday. All the same workflows from every one of these undercut videos, in one place updated each week. It is free, link in the description. Pinned comment, Church of SEO Jesus. Join today and use the Muse Code play while the window is still open. The point is not that Meta wins. The point is that every AI coding line item on your P&L now has to earn its rent, and until this week, none of them had to. The shift is real. Act on it. Tomorrow's video. Because while everyone is watching Anthropic and Meta trade coding tool punches on the surface, Google quietly moved on the layer underneath both of them yesterday, and it is going to change what an agent even is by the end of the month. Next video right there.